Hey, you guys, thanks for listening into this episode of Tips with T. On today, we are going to be talking about tax season prep tips. Okay. Um, we are in the month of November. Tax season is in January. It will be here before you know it. So I just want to go over a few tips that can help you um when it comes to preparing yourself for this upcoming tax season. Also might be able to help you cut costs on some things because if you're not organized, if you're not prepared, it can cost you an additional fee. And if we can cut costs and save money, we are good to go. So I'm just gonna go over a couple of tips that I noticed that some tax clients don't do, so you guys can be prepared for this upcoming tax season and you guys can take advantage of it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is organize your documents. So start by gathering all your necessary documents, so your W-2 forms, your 1099s, your receipts, or your deduction expenses, etc. Create a system to keep everything organized, whether it's a physical folder or a digital folder on your computers. I will suggest doing a digital folder. That way you can share the link out to your tax professionals more easier, more organized than actual giving a physical folder to your tax professional. So if you want to utilize the Google Drive to create a Google folder and just share that link out to your professional, I would highly suggest that you do so. I'm all about digital. I'm all about working smart, not hard. You know, paper can get lost in the sauce, can get misplaced, they can get damaged over time. So they can fade over time. So if we can stick to digital cloud-based type things to do it, I will prefer that. That way you can always have it. You can always go back to it. You have it somewhere. Number two is stay informed about changing the changes in the tax laws. So tax laws can change from year to year, which can affect your deductions, your credits, and your filing requirements. So you want to stay up to date. You want to know what's going on. You want to know what tax bracket you might possibly be in because that's going to play a major role too based upon your income, what tax bracket you're going to be in. So to stay up to date with reliable source with this different types of taxes, use reliable or tax laws. Use reliable sources such as IRS Productions website, the tax newsletter websites, or consult a tax professional. All right, so stay informed. All right. Um, Tip number three is to maximize deductions and credits. So take advantage of all deductions and credits you qualify for to minimize your tax liability. So common deduction includes mortgage interest, charitable contributions, and medical expenses. A lot of these things are not used or not kept up with during the year, and it can cost um, the tax preparer money as far as you leave money on the table where you have a higher tax debt. So make sure you keep up with all these things. Also, you want to consider credits like the earned income tax credit or the child tax credit to reduce your tax bill further. So know where you stand at when it comes to the different deductions and credits that you might be able to take or you qualify for. Ask your tax professional ahead of time if you are not sure about maybe a checklist, deductions checklist or a credit checklist. I prepare one and I give one to my clients. That way they can be organized and have all their stuff whenever they come. I don't have to keep going back and forth with them asking. So if your tax professional is organized and maybe have tax um checklists and things of that nature that they give out to clients, ask your tax professional if you can get one of those checklists. Okay, that can help you too as well to stay organized and know where you stand when it comes to your deductions and credits. Plan ahead for retirement contributions is number four. So contributing to retirement accounts like the IRA or the 401k can lower your tax liability income or your taxable income. I'm sorry. So make sure you're keeping up with those type of things. You want to review contribution limits and deadlines for the year, for that tax year, and make additional contributions before that deadline if you feel the need to do so. Number five is consider tax efficient investments. So there's different type of investments that you guys can do in order to get tax breaks. So Certain investments like bonds or tax deferred accounts can provide tax advantages. Consult with a financial advisor though to explore more investment options that align with your tax strategy. And they must be a financial advisor that is licensed to do investment. So they must have their security license. So make sure you're finding someone that is licensed in these areas because they're going to be able to tell you this about a different type of investments. If they're not licensed in this area, they can't tell you about investments. Okay, so make sure you find a licensed financial advisor that can actually tell you about the different investment options that works best with your tax strategy. Number 6 is to review your filing options. So decide whether to file your taxes yourself using tax software, hire a tax professional, or use a combination of both. I always recommend to use a tax professional. Some people try to file them for themselves but don't know what they're doing, and then they end up having to go and pay a tax professional because they have made a boo-boo or a mistake. And your a tax professional has to go and make the proper correction. So if you do not know what you are doing, hire you a tax professional. Don't do it yourself. And the way the IRS is doing rolling out things now that I have seen is that they're taking away a lot of the softwares now are not going to be free. So they're taking away the free option. The only free option to use to file your taxes is going to be through the IRS website. So if you're not familiar with that website, you don't know what you're doing when it comes to filing your taxes, please seek professional help. All right. Tax professional is the way to go. Evaluate the pros and cons of each option based upon your financial situation and comfort level with tax preparation. But like I said, I'm a tax professional and I tell people if you don't know what you're doing, go get the help that you need. All right. That's what we are here for. 7 is check for errors. Carefully review your tax return for errors or omission before submitting it. Common mistakes include incorrect social security numbers, math errors, and missing signatures. So make sure you're looking off over all your stuff. Make sure they are correct when it comes to those type of important information. All right. File on time. Don't wait until the last minute to file your taxes. Filing late can result into penalties, and interest. If you can't file by the deadline, consider filing an extension to avoid penalties. But remember that extension only extends the time to file, not the time to pay any taxes that are owed. All right, so you're still going to have to pay those taxes. All right, so I hope these 8 tips were very, very helpful to you guys today. By following these tips, you will be well prepared for the upcoming tax season and can navigate through it with confidence. Remember that tax preparation does not have to be stressful when you plan ahead and stay informed. Be sure to, subscribe to the channel and make sure that you guys listen in because I do give tips every now and again. Make sure if you want to keep up with the tax laws, go to the IRS website, subscribe to their IRS publication for the different tax laws. Because things always change, but you want to make sure that you are staying up to date on all these things. All right. So make sure you are doing that. I hope these tax tips, like I said, was helpful. I hope it will prepare you for the upcoming tax season. Don't wait to the last minute. Make sure you're being well organized. Make sure you stay on top of things because I cannot tell you how stressful it can be when it's time for you to get your taxes done because the IRS is sending out letters saying that you need to file your taxes and you are all over the place. All right, so make sure you're doing your due diligence when it comes to staying organized and being prepared and knowing what your credits and your deductions are and the loss. All right. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of Tips with T. If you know of anyone that wants to be a guest on the show of Tips with T, please send them my way. They can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. They can call me at 910-317-0396 if they would like to be a guest on the show. I welcome guests. We would love to hear about your entrepreneurship journey and how it can help someone else on their journey. So feel free to reach out if you would like to be a guest. But thank you guys once again for listening to this episode. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm here for it, especially when it comes to different tax questions, because I want you guys to not leave any money on the table this upcoming tax year. So, all right, you guys, thanks again for listening to this episode of Tips with T. and we will see you on the next one.